One of the first people that Gail Ann Hurd introduced me to in this film was our production designer, the person we had as our production designer, Ivo Cristante, and he became just such a phenomenal asset for the making of the movie. He brought so much in terms of his designs and he's also a wonderful, has great mechanical effects knowledge also. So he was very instrumental in the creation of the buildings and the sets to work in a effects way, which was great. Ivo, we started searching for a location for the movie, and we went throughout the western United States. And it was very difficult finding the location, the right location for this movie, because we needed a valley, a desert floor that was surrounded by mountains, that had a cliff down to a lower plain at one end of the valley. And that was a hard group of variables to find in a movie-friendly place, somewhere that would be close enough to hotels and all the things you need to make a movie. And also we needed rock formations, interesting rock formations that would provide safety for our characters.
We found a location south of Lone Pine, about 30 miles south of Lone Pine. And it turned out great. Ivo Cristante, our production designer, went in there with typical enthusiasm and built this whole town and made it look old. You know, we even paved a little section of this tiny little dirt road that was there.
I mean, absolutely everything was built.
And Ivo had 2 months to build this entire town, and he had a great crew. They worked very quickly, and he designed the centerpiece of the town. Pham Van's store was originally called, later changed to Chang's when we cast a Chinese actor instead of a Vietnamese actor. And it was built to collapse and go back together immediately for take 2, which was a really wonderful design where the roof could fall apart and we could take it apart in stages as much as we wanted.
What do you think?
Ground's getting closer, Earl.
Yeah.
I say we go with Miguel's plan.
It was really ingenious and simple. As most of the effects in this movie were kind of simple. The movie was made with bulldozer technology, and we tried to make everything as sort of simple and foolproof as possible. However, most of the effects didn't work the first time, as with most effects movies. It just became agony for me as a first-time director too, not being used to whatever you plan for, something else happens, and the effects were certainly often that way, especially the physical effects, because we were trying to do things that were impossible. We were trying to create the illusion that these 30-foot underground monsters were barreling through the desert at high speed, and it's something that is kind of difficult in the real world to actually do.
When we got out there to make Tremors, the three of us together, the experience was, it was amazing to find out the experience was the same. Making an $11 or $12 million feature was the same experience as making a $20,000 educational film. You know, we didn't have enough money, we didn't have enough time, and we were basically sort of, you know, winging it, you know, as we went along.
So, solving difficult problems in the same way.
Yeah.
Winging it's not quite right. We had elaborate storyboards and we had planned it out, but things nevertheless go wrong, and that's when you rely on your experience to solve them.
Yeah.
One of the big nightmares, effects-wise, for the film was this sinking of the car. It was the last night of photography, and we were running out of night, and the car, we had a water pit, basically, that was filled with vermiculite, this dirt-like substance, and the vermiculite just absorbed water like crazy, and it became solid like ground, and we could not get that car to sink down into it. The sequence was storyboarded to go a little farther. The actress was going to kick the windshield out and get up on the bumper, and she's going down on the ship as it's sinking, screaming out into the night up on the bumper, and we just couldn't ever get to that part of the scene because we couldn't get the car to go down, first of all. So it was a very frustrating night. One of the effects that worked the first time and every time that was one of my favorites in the film was when the jackhammer pierces the graboid and it shoots across through the pavement, across the roadway. And that was actually done in a very simple way with a track that was laid under the ground, and the jackhammer was set into that track, and then the track was covered with an asphalt, very soft asphalt look that just broke away as the jackhammer was pulled. Another one that actually worked, though, was the moving hump that went throughout the desert and was racing toward Kevin Bacon at the end of the film at the cliff. And that was a simple technique that was just a trough dug by a tractor out in the desert, and we put a boat buoy in the trough, covered the whole trough with a dirt mat, and then pulled it with a truck, pulled this buoy around, and it really gave the sense of the moving hump of this creature.